When you saw the photograph of the top secret documents laid out on the floor at Mar-a-Lago, what did you think to yourself, looking at that image?
How that could possibly happen. How anyone could be that irresponsible.
This is Plausibly Live.
Well, good morning, good evening, or good afternoon, wherever you are, whatever you do. A lot of things happening in the world today, most of them far beyond our control, you might say. Perhaps it's time we took a pause and thought about life and thought about the laws of gravity. Doomsday! Vladimir Putin. More classified documents and more vice presidents. Don't touch that dial, just try to hear me out for a little while. Well, the good news is we are 90 seconds from midnight. Does that mean? Well, in reality, it means nothing, but theoretically, it means that we are about to destroy ourselves as a race, as human beings. For the record, this 90 seconds to midnight thing is the closest we've ever been, according to the Bulletin of Atomic Scientists, who most people have either A, never heard of, or B, if they do hear about them, they hear about them once a year when they start chattering on about how close we are to midnight. And they've done this every year since 1947. They've explained to us that, well, we're close to midnight. We're all going to die. And of course, it was born out of the 1940s and 50s and the 47. It was born out of the atomic proliferation idea. And with the exception of the end of the Cold War, I think, it always moves closer to midnight. But now, closer than we've ever been. We're going to all die. I don't know why you worry about anything else, because there's really no point in it, right? So why have they decided that this year, 2023, is the most dangerous year for human beings in the entire history of humanity? Well, they have a number of reasons. Chinese nuclear proliferation. Chinese are building nuclear weapons, and this is a problem because the Chinese, I don't know, do they seem like the kind of people that would use them? As compared to, say, the Mad Mullahs of Tehran, who are also on the list of the reasons why we're 90 seconds from midnight. Uranium enrichment, is a second reason. And they seem to be the kind of people, in my mind, that would, actually use them. Along with the Norks, the North Koreans, who also make the list because they keep testing missiles. So missiles, nuclear weapons, enrichment, proliferation, all of these things are considered dangerous enough that the Bulletin of Atomic Scientists has decided that we're 90 seconds from destroying ourselves, figuratively speaking, not a minute and a half in real time, but you get the idea. Now, they also have some other reasons here. Now, remember, the Bulletin of Atomic Scientists was born out of the United States' atomic program in the late 40s, and it was concerned about the idea that we might annihilate ourselves with nuclear weapons. But now, if you've been paying attention to the last 20 years, they've been telling us that climate change is the reason we're all going to die. They've added some other reasons, though. You're going to love this. Future pandemics from animals. Future pandemics from animals is now on the list of potential things that could wipe out human beings. Well, I know what you're thinking. I know what's going through your head. Wait for it. Wait for it. Because the next thing that's on the list is future pandemics from lab mistakes. Somebody's fooling around in a lab. They make a mistake. Boom, all of humanity dies in a horrible outbreak of a virus with a 99% survival rate. Disruptive technologies are considered a reason why we're so close to midnight. Okay. Climate change is on the list, of course, because, we're all going to die. By the way, Bad Maps, I think, yesterday tweeted a picture of the world, the land masses, with a 400-meter increase in 400-foot increase, I guess, in the water levels caused by climate change. And I'm looking at the map going, I'm safe. I'm okay. I know it's weird because I'm very close to the water, but I'm also at the top of a hill. So there you go. No, now we get into the real reasons we're 90 seconds from midnight. You ready? 2 words. Say them with me. Vladimir Putin. That is why we are 90 seconds from midnight, because Vladimir Putin and his insane war in Ukraine, which, of course, we've talked to death, and I'm not going to get into the conduct or the predictions about the war, but Vladimir Putin is listed as the cause, the reason, amongst other reasons, why we are 90 seconds to midnight. And, of course, this is going to be reinforced today because Biden is apparently going to announce today that the United States has approved sending Abrams main battle tanks to Ukraine. This is in conjunction with Europe, NATO, which has sent German Leopard tanks and British Centurion tanks, I guess, to Ukraine as well. So now what was considered provocative, what was considered too iffy a year ago, now we're sending them our main battle tanks. Our best battle tanks are going to Ukraine. This, of course, is going to be seen as escalatory by the Russians because they know that their tanks suck. I mean, they just do. Not only are their tanks not that great, I mean, I guess they could be, but the problem is they don't have a good training program. They have problems with it. So we're sending, stuff over there that's just going to cut through them like knife through butter. The question you got to ask yourself, do you think old Vladimir there is watching this hour-long reveal of the clock, the atomic clock? So the atomic clock reveal was done live on YouTube because no television station would carry it. And it took them an hour of discussing all of these things to reveal that we are 90 seconds from midnight. It was every bit as bad as the LeBron James Miami reveal thing on ESPN. But can you picture Vladimir Putin sitting there watching this, because it was also broadcast in Russian? Can you imagine him sitting there watching this and going, gosh, I'm the reason we're 90 seconds from destroying all of humanity? I guess I'll just have to stop all this then, won't I? I guess I'll just have to, say, well, I'm sorry. I wasn't trying to destroy the world, but, now that you've shown me, I guess I'll have to stop, right? Can you see him doing that? I can't. The thing about all this is that the Bulletin of Atomic Scientists has been doing this since 1947. If you run the math, you'll find that that's 76 years they have trundled out in front of us and told us that we are X number of minutes, now for the first time seconds, from destroying ourselves. And in that 76 years, and this is funny because we were talking about this in a Torah class last night about how do you tell when a prophet is a true prophet? And it's like, well, there's some conditions, and I'm not going to get into them all here, but one of them is that what they say has to come true. In 75 years, the Bulletin of Atomic Scientists, for 75 years, they haven't gotten one right. Doomsday, the AP said, doomsday has not happened yet. 75-year streak that they've had going of being 100% not correct. Now, I guess you could argue that they really only have to be right once, and then they can, be like the people who believe in Nostradamus going, see, we were right. Once upon a time, 1998, as a matter of fact, at the start of the NFL season, someone said to me, who are you predicting will be in the Super Bowl? And I didn't hesitate, didn't miss a beat. The Denver Broncos, the defending champions, and the Atlanta Falcons. And guess what happened? They were in the Super Bowl, and everybody said, how did you know? I said, I didn't know. I took an educated guess based on some things, and I could explain it to you, but here's the thing. There's been like 57 Super Bowls, and that's the only one that I've gotten right. 1 out of 57 doesn't make me, genius. At some point, you got to think the Bulletin of Atomic Scientists is going to wake up and realize, look, we got a 75, soon to be 76 year run of being 100% incorrect. Maybe at some point we should, either stop trundling this thing out there or change how we do this or stop trying to panic people into believing they're all going to die in doomsday. But you know what I say, right? Say it with me. This has nothing to do about whether or not we're going to annihilate ourselves or not. It has nothing to do with nuclear weapons or climate change. This is about attention. Because literally the only time most people hear about the Bulletin of Atomic Scientists is the day they actually reveal it and the next day when talking heads talk about it. And you know what they say, right? You know what I say all the time? This is about attention. These are attention whores. And attention whores are gonna attention whore. It's what they do.
I'm Bill Mick with WMMB Radio in Melbourne, Florida, where we have a governor that will actually stand for what's right. My show airs mornings from 6 to 9 Eastern. Every day we discuss news, politics, and social issues that impact us all. Tuesdays in our 8 o'clock hour, Dave joins me for something we call Dave Does History, where Dave brings us events from our past that contain lessons for right now. To listen live, find WMMB on the iHeartRadio app.
Hey, this is Whitey. And this is Hank. And you can listen to our podcast, 2 Pint Talk, on all your favorite podcast sources.
So come check it out, where we talk about 2 beers
and everything stuff.
Listen to 2 Pint Talk on iTunes, Google Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Hi, this is Justine, bringing you late night talk for those that go to bed early. Listen to my podcast, What's Justine Thinking, every Wednesday and Friday on Anchor and Spotify.
So the big news yesterday, other than the Bulletin of Atomic Scientists, was that Joe Biden, his house, and a 13-hour search for classified documents, at which they found more classified documents. 13-hour search. Now, that makes me go, wait a sec, 13 hours? I mean, where were we hiding these documents that required 13 hours of, how big is this house, I guess, should be the next question, which could open up some other things as well. I said to Bill yesterday, if somebody searches my house for 13 hours, I assume that they're planting stuff, but I can't prove that here. This whole thing, though, yesterday does feed into my theory that this is all just to get rid of Joe Biden. That's the whole point of this, is that it has nothing to do with anything else. This is all about getting Joe Biden out of the White House early. The theory, for those of you who haven't heard it, is that they are going to use these documents and the controversy that is building. And if you read any of the mainstream newspapers, even the New York Times this week had an op-ed about how bad Joe Biden has screwed this up and how he's unfortunately handed Trump a get out of jail free card. I don't believe that, because ultimately they're really just looking for that accusation against Trump. That's all that is. And so they can do that, but they can use Biden as the reason. See, Joe Biden did this too, and so we have to punish him. And because we have to punish him, it's okay that we punish Trump. And all your arguments about who can declassify what go out the window. But the funny thing that happened this week, of course, is that we got yet another vice president who jumps into this whole thing with his classified documents. Mike Pence announced to the world that I've got classified documents too. Sorry. Now, why would Mike Pence do that? Was there any reason to suspect that Mike Pence had classified documents? There is, and I've already told you what that reason is. That reason is because nobody, no politician in our government, no government employee in our government believes that the rules apply to them. They don't. I'm telling you, every single one of these politicians has classified documents in their house. Every single one of them. And they're all watching this with grave concern because they want to see where this goes. Maybe it'll just go away and I won't have to worry about it. Guarantee shredder sales are about to go through the roof for politicians. So why would Pence out himself like this? Is he trying to hurt Trump? Is he trying to make Trump look even worse? Because now it's 2-1. Now we got 2 Republicans and 1 Democrat that have classified documents at home. And then you go, well, what about Hillary Clinton's server? Well, she didn't mean to have a server at home. She didn't mean to violate these things. Is it 2-2 or 2-1? I don't know. Does this help Joe Biden? Does it help the president when the former vice president, Pence? See, now we got to start talking about names because we can't just say whatever because we've got 2 vice presidents involved with this. Is he trying to help Joe Biden by showing that it's not that big of a deal? It does prove my point that they all do it. Even the so-called good ones with morals and values, they all do this. You understand this? Security in this government, in the United States government, with the exception of the military, and I'm basing that solely on my experience, which ended, 30 years ago, 32 years ago. I'm assuming that they still take it seriously. They might not, I know, but I can tell you that the rest of the government, the civilian government, security is a joke to them. How do you know? Well, the Supreme Court released their review this week about the SCOTUS leaker. Remember this? Who leaked this ruling on Dobbs? You know what they found? Mountains of no evidence that they could find anything. And yet at the same time that they can't find who leaked that, they know every phone number that was at January 6th and every single person that was there. The rules are for thee and not for them. This government does not take security seriously. Now, again, I'm on record, and I still believe that most of this classified document stuff found in a vice president's home is probably pretty banal. Again, most of it is probably stuff that their office produced and then classified because they didn't want it getting out. It's not nuclear secrets. It's not foreign office stuff. It's embarrassing stuff that they don't want anybody to know about because if somebody knows about it, then they might, say something, and we can't have that. But at the end of the day, it's still classified, and you still treat classified material as classified material. You don't just leave it laying around, unless you're a government employee or a politician, in which case the rules don't seem to apply to you, and you just go ahead and do it anyway. It's weird. I don't know. 13-hour search, Mike Pence jumping into this whole thing. It's all distraction, folks. I mean, it really is. I hate to be the one to say that, but this whole story just stinks. Number one, it's an attempt to get rid of Joe Biden. I'm absolutely certain of that now. It's no longer just this working theory in the back of my brain. Now I am certain that this is designed to get Joe Biden out of office early. Whether it happens or not, I'm not the Bulletin of Atomic Scientists, so I can't tell you with any certainty that it's, 10 seconds to midnight for Joe Biden's presidency, and I wouldn't do that anyway. I'm certain that this is an attempt to do that. Whether the attempt is successful or not is completely, different. Things could change in a heartbeat, which is what we learned in Torah study last night. God changes his mind sometimes. It could be that the situation changes. It could be that the system changes. There could be any number of factors that we don't know about yet, which, again, if we start seeing an avalanche of politicians coming out, former politicians coming out going, well, I got some classified documents too. Then what do we do? At that point, my gut read is that the people who want Joe Biden out of office don't want that happening, because if that starts happening, it damages their ability to get him out of there and to punish Trump. But we'll see what happens. So that's my prediction, even though I'm not a member of the Bulletin of Atomic Scientists, and I don't believe that we're 90 seconds from midnight. Don't get me wrong. The world is a very dangerous place. Putin is a very dangerous person. The Norks are dangerous. The Chinese are dangerous. The Iranians are nuts. And things are not going in a positive trend right now. But I think that's because most of our world leaders right now are very weak people. And that will not always be the case. Things might turn around. You never know. That's what happens. Take the time right now. Tell the people that matter in your life you love them very much. You'd miss them if they weren't there, so don't pass up those opportunities. You don't want to have that regret. Plausibly Live, I'm Dave Bowman. This is my show. I will see you Friday. I'm not going to be here tomorrow. I know tomorrow's Constitution Thursday, and I apologize, but I've got some medical stuff going on. Maybe I'll update you on all that on Friday, but if you care, if you don't care, that's fine. But if you do, remember this show is for Ben, and so at some point he's going to watch it and go, oh, that's what was going on with my dad that day. All right. That's important to me. For some reason, that's far more important to me than anything the Bulletin of Atomic Scientists have to say. Have a great day, everybody. See you on Friday.